Welcome to Man on Open Studio. I'm your host, Khositsile Sebakeng. Man to Man is a show about how men in our society are having a problem with alcohol use disorder. In this show, we're going to be talking more about it and how we can help the society. Our topic for today is, according to research, and all the way from South African Alcohol Policy Alliance, we have Aadielah Marker. Aadielah, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, Aadielah, please tell us about South African Alcohol Policy Alliance. What programs do you guys have there?
Okay, the Southern African Alcohol Policy Alliance is an NGO. We have 6 chapters. As it indicates, we're based in Southern Africa. So we have a chapter in South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia. And our intention is to create a platform where we bring civil society organizations together to lobby for more health-promoting alcohol policies. Now, it sounds a little bit strange when you talk about that, but the challenge we have in Southern Africa is that we have a lot of people that misuse alcohol, and that we believe that the policies of the country needs to be more restrictive to create a supportive environment in which people make choices to use alcohol. So we're not saying don't use alcohol. What we are saying is that there's a more healthy way to use alcohol. So we all know that it's Thursday, it's Small Friday, drinking started last night. We start with a 6-pack on the table, and then we add to that. But the more safer, healthy way of drinking is not necessarily part of our conversation. So for SAPA, we promote more restrictive alcohol policies by government in order to support individual citizens to make more healthier drinking choices.
Wow, that's great, hey? That's great. We actually need that. Aadielah, I don't know if you have an insight on about what was reached in Geneva, the strategy of how to possibly help with this alcohol use disorder.
Okay, so the World Health Organization in 2010 drafted 10 strategies that they said countries could take on to decrease the harm of alcohol. And those 10 strategies includes political will, so leadership and political will. But there's 3 best buys that they advocate for. The one is increase in prices. So increase the taxes on alcohol. What it would do is that it makes alcohol a little bit more expensive. So people that is drinking a lot begins to afford less, so therefore they will start to drink less alcohol. But also government will raise revenue from increased taxes that they could then direct to alcohol harms reduction programs. So that's the first one. The second one is to make it less available. And our challenge in South Africa is that we have a lot of illegal outlets. So anybody that lives in the township, we know that we've got a should be next to us, opposite us, around the corner from us.
And it's sad.
And so that what that makes, it makes alcohol easily available for people. So one of the recommendations within that 10 strategies is to say, make it less available, and therefore it will input on how people use alcohol. It's similar to what they did around tobacco. You know, they banned alcohol smoking in public spaces, in places of work. So now if you work in an office, so people of my age, we grew up with people that smoked in the same office, right? And then they introduced legislation that basically changed that and said that you can't smoke where people are working. And so people have to leave the office. And that, so every time you have to smoke, you feel the urge to smoke, you have to leave the office. And that is input, that has helped people decrease how much they smoke. So it's find a way to make alcohol less available for people.
Yeah.
And then the last one that we are particularly interested in is that of marketing,
Yeah.
restricting the marketing of alcohol. So we know we've just had the World Cup, we celebrated SIA,
Yeah. So
but what happened was that we had book towns.
yeah.
So we had spaces where people could go and sit and watch the game, but it was alcohol driven. The ads that was in the program,
Even
or
the sponsors and all
sponsors are all alcohol. And we've got a problem in South Africa where all the major sporting codes is actually supported by the alcohol industry. So the South Africa Medical Research Council did a study in 2017 in Tshwane. And they found that 78% of adolescents who participated in the study and reported to be drinking access alcohol advertising through sport. So we are saying let's ban advertising to the point of sale. So it's not saying you can't advertise, but let's keep it to the bottle store. Let's not have it on TV, let's not have it on the billboards, because international evidence has shown that children start to drink earlier if they're exposed to marketing, and they drink more because of marketing. So when you look at an ad, they never have one drink. There's always a six-pack and more. The fridge is always full. It's always overflowing. And that creates the subliminal message that a lot of drinking is what makes it cool.
Yeah, true. Aadielah, according to you, do you think that our education system is doing enough to maybe teach children about the use of alcohol and how bad it is for us?
Well, I mean, I think that we need to look at education at different levels. Education is not just the responsibility of the Department of Education. Education is also the responsibility of us as parents, as siblings, as peers, and as a society. But what we have a particular problem with is in the Western Cape, is that the minister, the MEC for Education in the Western Cape, has made the sale of alcohol on school premises legal.
Wow.
And so now that's a big problem.
Really?
It sends out a message
So
that
sad.
alcohol is, is part of life. If the school if schools are allowed to sell alcohol from the school premise, it sends a very, very ambiguous message to children around drinking. So firstly, we need to get our education department needs to get our policies in place, and it needs to say the same thing. It can't try and teach children to not drink or delay when you start drinking. And at the same time, it says it's okay if you sell alcohol from the school premise, because that's how you're going to raise funds. So that's a big problem. But all in all, the education system at the moment is not doing enough. But the key issue is that we need to understand that education is not enough to change people's behavior.
True. Let's quickly go to an ad break. We'll be back right now with Aadielah Maka. Thank you. Welcome back to Men to Men. I'm Aadielah Diedericks. In our studio today from South African Alcohol Policy Alliance, we have Aadielah Maka in our studio. Welcome back, ma'am. Aadielah, people say sometimes that a glass of wine is good for your health and stuff, but according to a global study, no level of alcohol is good for your health. Do you wanna maybe elaborate on that, because we're now confused?
Well, it's actually a very difficult issue, because the first thing is that the World Health Organization recognizes that alcohol causes cancer. It's a #1 carcinogen. It is related to 7 cancers, and we've just come out of Cancer Awareness Week, Cancer Awareness Month. And for women, and I know this is a program for men, but for the men, they can share the information with the female partners.
We appreciate it. Please go ahead.
Is that every time you have a glass of alcohol or a beer, it actually increases your risk for breast cancer. Yeah?
Mm.
So there's no safe level of alcohol drinking. At the same time, however, we know that we can't say, let's not drink, because then people's not going to listen to us. People are
Yeah.
going to think, what's the point?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
true.
But it's really difficult. In South Africa, we have less than 50% of people that's drinking.
Yeah.
I know that's also very difficult to understand, because when you look at the ads, it talks about us as a nation of drinkers. You know, when SAB Castle puts out an ad, they say, oh, South Africans as people that drink. What they don't acknowledge is that less than 50% of people in South Africa drink. But the people that drink at harmful levels.
Yeah.
They don't drink just one glass. People don't drink to socialize. People drink to get drunk.
Yeah, true.
And that's the culture we have in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that's what we are saying we need to work at changing. Is how do we get people to understand that 60% of, we're going to 16 days of activism, 60% of women that have been abused report that that their partner had used alcohol at the time of the incident. Road traffic accidents, 15% of road deaths is alcohol related. If we look at at the end of the year, it's holiday season, it's matric dances, it's all of those things.
True.
And you often hear about the violence that happens. So you have rape that happens, you have stabbing that happens, you have all of those things that's related to alcohol use. And we need to get South Africans to start thinking about, how do I drink so that I can enjoy the drink and the company without causing harm? We spend about 245 billion rand annually on alcohol-related harm. Money that should be going to development. If we talk about students that don't have bursaries, we could have been using 245 billion rand to fund students to have education, as opposed to spending that on alcohol-related harm. So there's a way in which citizens and government needs to look at influencing how we drink.
Aadielah, in one of the interviews when I was reading my research, one of the professors at South African Medical Research actually said, and I quote, there is a risk. Alcohol is a poison. So my question is, when you are a researcher and dealing with such issues on daily basis, and you get findings like alcohol is a poison and that is a fact, what do you do with such?
The difficulty is that firstly we must acknowledge that it is a carcinogen, it causes cancer.
Yeah.
But alcohol is a product that is promoted by the alcohol companies as something that is a lifestyle. You know,
or a luxury.
It's not a luxury. It's actually, they promote it as a necessity. It's like you can't have fun without alcohol, you can't celebrate without alcohol, you can't have your matric ball without alcohol. The problem is how do we share information with people without them feeling that you're trying to preach to them, that you're trying to restrict them. So that's the one challenge. The other challenge is that, and this is why we exist as an organization, is that we believe that we need to introduce policies upstream, so that it's not just about the individual, but it's about the environment within which the individual makes a decision to drink and how much they drink. And there are 3 bills that we believe that the government is sitting on at the moment. The control of marketing of alcoholic beverages, and that bill specifically calls for the banning of advertising, similar to what we've done with tobacco, and calling for the banning of sports sponsorship in particular. And we believe that it's critical that the government releases that bill to the public so that we can comment on it. Because we have seen other countries introduce restrictions on marketing and how that has assisted in reducing alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
We all know that the Russians drink, right?
Yeah.
Russians and vodka goes together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
But the Russians have just released information that says that they have reduced alcohol consumption 43%.
Wow.
43% of people drink less in Russia because they've introduced restrictions on marketing. They've given information to people. They've made it less available. So they've reduced the outlets that can sell it, and they've increased the price. Yeah? And those three things has contributed to reducing consumption with 43%. Now,
Wow.
Russia was one of the 5 top drinking nations in the world. By the way, South African are number 6, right? Even though less than 50% of people drink in the country.
Yeah.
The people that drink heavily.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
The second bill is that of the Road Traffic Bill of 2015, which we believe government should be tabling and processing. Because what it does, it calls for the reduction of blood alcohol content levels in people that drink and people that drive. What is legally allowed if you are driving a car? How much how much alcohol you should have in your body. And then the third bill is that of the National Liquor Amendment Bill. And that bill basically introduces key issues. The one is that of a 500-meter zone around educational institutions. So not just schools in the township, but also the universities.
Yeah,
We
true.
know that they have a lot of bottle stores that have specials on a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday
Yeah.
for students so that they can get them to buy,
Yeah,
right?
true.
But it also introduces a liability clause so that people that owns a bar or a shebeen or a tavern, if they serve somebody that they can visibly see is drunk, if that person does harm to someone else, you as the person that served the alcohol to them can be legally held responsible for the harm.
Yeah, that will be so okay, man. But Aadielah, we'll have to quickly link to a break.
Okay.
We'll be back. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back after the break. Thank you. Welcome back. We're still continuing our chat with Aadielah. Aadielah, you're the woman of many characters, and we love your initiative on this. You saying, and I've seen this myself. I've seen the numbers on your Twitter handle. So you tweeting directly to the president about the numbers of alcohol and what is happening. Can you please tell us about that, and how is that affecting, or what is his answers to you sometimes?
Well, the first thing is that the president has not taken the time to answer.
Wow.
So that's a problem.
So how long have you been tweeting, if I may ask? Sorry.
We've been tweeting a long time,
Yeah.
but since the president has come, the current president has come into power, we've been tweeting. So for instance, he was in Russia last week.
Yeah.
And so we tweeted to him to ask him, why don't you speak to the Russians about how they reduced alcohol harm and consumption in the country? You're right there. So every day when we come across information of what's happening in other parts of the world, we tweet that back to the president, asking him to consider it.
Wow.
The Minister of Health, the Minister of Social Development, DTI, all of our top government officials. They're not responding. We're hoping, however, that they will take that into consideration when they make decisions that they should be making urgently. Recently, we had the president speak about we had the special session on gender-based violence.
Yes.
They've just released a report on how much they're going to be spending,
Yeah.
but none of it talks about changing the physical environment which alcohol is available, which is a serious problem. So we can but try every day to get them to listen to us.
Wow, that's sad, ne? So they like just blue ticking you all the way. And
All the way, all
Oh,
the way.
shame, man.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's good you're at least being blue ticked by high people in high places. Respect. I love that. I love the initiative. It's a great thing. Please continue. Hopefully one day one of them will answer. Tell me, do you think we need more stricter tactics to fight this disorder, this alcohol use disorder, and what can you suggest?
Our best buy would be ban alcohol advertising. Because if you don't have it speaking to you on the TV, if you don't have it on the billboards, if you don't have it in the magazines, it denormalizes the fact that alcohol is part of our life. Because alcohol is not a normal product like soap powder.
Yeah.
It is not like an apple a day will keep the doctor away.
It's not a necessity.
It's not a necessity. So we need to create a conversation in South Africa to say that alcohol doesn't have to be part of our lifestyle, yeah? But when we do have alcohol, let's begin to do it differently. You know, a lot of people, and sometimes I do this, if you think of somebody that drinks 2 beers a day, let's just say 2 beers, and I know in South Africa people would laugh when you say, oh, 2 beers. I mean, that's too little, right?
They're laughing now.
But if you drink 2 beers a day, just count what's the cost of a beer at the moment?
I'm not really sure.
13 rand for 330.
Yeah, true.
So that's 26 rand a day, times 7 days a week, times 4 weeks a month, times 12 months a year. And just think of how much money, just if you're only drinking 2 beers, a day, and how much money you then spend for the year.
Yeah.
And then look at how much you earn. So people on the lower spectrum of earnings don't earn that much money.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, look at how much you've spent versus how much you earn. So we need to get people to think about that. Holiday season is coming up. Then we have January's back to school. But often what happens is that little extra money that we have in our pocket in December, we spend on partying. We spend on getting drinks. We don't invite somebody. We are ashamed of inviting somebody over to have a party with us if we don't have alcohol.
It's true.
Yeah?
It's true.
Because then what they're going to think of us.
Yeah.
But that money people spend on alcohol is they're not available in January for school clothes, for school fees, for all the stationery that children need. And then parents need to go and make loans in order to make that. So the key issue is how do we get South Africans to begin to talk differently about alcohol? That alcohol, if we're organizing a party, that it's not 70% goes to the alcohol and 30% to the food. As how do we have 70% to the food and 30% to the alcohol? So that there's just less alcohol available.
Yeah. Aadielah, tell me, do you think economy-wise, do you think in a long run we would be a better performing country economically if the government will stop the sales of alcohol altogether?
I think if they regulate the sales of alcohol, we will definitely see a shift. I mean, I said earlier on, currently we generate 97 billion rand in taxes on alcohol.
Yeah, true.
But we spend 245 billion on alcohol harm. So technically you and me who pay taxes is subsidizing the profit of the alcohol industry.
Yeah.
With almost 250%?
True. Yeah.
So that money, if we had that money available to go into the economy to pay for education or to create jobs, all the matriculants that's going to be graduating now, we know that we've got a high unemployment rate. If we created jobs with that money, that would contribute to development in the country. So there's a way in which regulation of alcohol could assist in increasing development opportunities for the country and put us on a different trajectory.
Yo, Aadielah, sorry, man. Thank you so much. Time is not on our side, but quickly, how do we get hold of you?
You can get hold of us at sapa.za@gmail.com or sapa.southafrica@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, www.sapa.net, or you can follow us on Twitter @sapa7.
Thank you so much, Aadielah, man. This was Men to Men today. Thank you for joining us. It's been a terrific show. We got a lot of information. I hope we all go out and use it. Till next time, thank you so much. See you.